Good morning.
Good morning, coffee moaners. Good morning to you.
Oh, where's my
Squashed
enamel one?
tomatoes and stew. It's in the cupboard.
If you fancy getting yourself a mug, we'll pop the link. We'll pop the link in the thing under when it's all
Sorry, because
uploaded.
they'd sold out and everyone was asking us if they're back.
Yeah.
Good morning, everybody. Hope you are well. I'm feeling a mixture of emotions today, but the sun is out, and that for me always helps a little.
Makes you want to sing. What does it make you want to sing, that?
Makes you want to sing. The sun has got his hat on, hip 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 hooray. The sun has got his hat on and he's coming out to play.
That's what my mum is singing right now, and it's accurate. The sun has got his hat on, hip 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 hooray.
Hi, Nanny Di, if you're
The
watching.
sun has got her hat on and he's coming out to stay. He's coming out as gay.
Oh God. Oh. Right, so welcome everybody. I think we've got a bit of a cracking one today because we've got a real good mixture of stuff. We've got some very funny. One of the videos, Mark's got a video that I haven't seen yet. He says it's very funny. But I've got one. Oh my God, that is both funny and worrying because I think it is me and Mark in the future, and our real regular viewers are going to go, "Oh to upload my God!" Yeah. Also, I found a really good video of a wedding where a mother of the bride steps in. That's all we'll tell you. That's a great one.
A frightening mother.
It's a great one.
We're gonna follow up. Obviously, we uploaded onto the YouTube channel both of our individual Instagram posts about the No Other Land director, Oscar winner, who has been lynched by Israeli settlers and taken away by the IDF. So we're going to be talking about that in a bit more detail. Really, I mean, the story hasn't moved along other than, wow, resounding silence.
And then also we've got a really good video really showing up the kind of people that attack women when they think those women have put on a little bit too much weight.
Yeah, it's great. It's a great film, that, actually. I had to change the music. I had to change the music on that. As I had to change the music on, I don't know what you thought of the Gwyneth Paltrow thing, because I just thought it was resoundingly unfunny.
No, it was not funny at all.
No, I know, but I feel that in itself is a story. Anyway, let's start the proceedings before we get serious with this.
Oh, I love this. No, I've seen this. I think I said that to Dina. Oh, this is where all the danger happens. When you somehow think you're able to do something that you are not able to do it. I mean, it's a very, very high post. She could have cracked her pelvis. Thank God. Do you know what? Thank God for that way. Because she had if you're listening on podcast, this is two inebriated, having a great time women, and one of them decided to leapfrog over. But anyway,
she catches her dress.
Come over and have a look at it on YouTube if you're listening.
Bottomless brunch. Remember we had that chat that time with Dina. Does she do bottomless brunches? No. She had a really negative response.
She gets pissed off with them, didn't she? Because they're not bottomless or something.
Right. Okay. Cool. Okay. Well, let's start with
Victoria Moore. Can't believe she attempted that. She must have had a couple of bottles.
Nikki Ball says my fanny is wincing watching.
Oh.
I don't even have a fanny and it's wincing. Wow. Okay. And also, let's just finally say, I do love this. I said this to our youngest, Kiki. She roared with laughter.
I am awake.
Just love that. Me after 3 double espressos. It's a moment from Breaking Bad. So shall we start with the story that is beyond frustrating?
The story that
we want you to
imagine. What we want you to imagine is the story that we're about to tell you is completely the other way around.
Yeah.
And that a director, an Israeli director, has made a film about the atrocities of October the 7th. And there's 2 directors and they have won the Oscar. Okay, so just keep that in your head and then imagine how that might be reported globally and the wrath of the world that would rain down.
And probably the
upon us.
missiles that would be fired at Gaza and the West Bank by Trump. If this was an Israeli director who was lynched and then dragged from an ambulance when bleeding. This is a detail that even the civilized Guardian says arrested. He's just arrested. It was more than that. There was blood everywhere. He was lynched by an Israeli group of Israeli settlers. Whilst he was being attended to in an ambulance, he was dragged away by the IDF. But the Western media have neatened this story up to say that he's been arrested.
So this was the co-director of the Oscar-winning film No Other Land. So there were 3 directors, I think. One of them Israeli, four, and one of them Israeli. So we were just sitting last night, chilling out, and Mark suddenly like, oh my God. It was as it came in, and it was told by the Israeli director. There were also 5 Jewish American activists that were there as well, which I said to Mark, well, hopefully, because there's Americans involved, this will actually go out to the media.
This is an image of the director who has been
this
kidnapped.
Is the director. His 7-year-old boy,
Hamdan Balal.
Hamdan Balal, No Other Land, was attacked by a group of settlers. Apparently, since the film No Other Land, which charts the story of the settlers, there has just been continued attacks. Now, lots of people may still not know what settlers mean. The settlers are the people that literally go onto the land of Palestinians, terrorize them out of their own home, usually with the IDF standing by holding their guns, and you see, it's so sad because you will see the Palestinians not able to defend themselves because defending is seen as an attack. But often they get arrested anyway, don't they? Even if they don't do anything.
I'm just getting the clip.
So armed IDF protect the settlers who go in and steal cuckoos. They go into another bird's nest and they take it with violence and intimidation. And this was the thing, this was the damn story of the film. And they have been intimidated. No, listen to this. This documentary won the damn Oscar, okay? And there is not a distribution company brave enough to show that film. And in fact, in one state in America where they did show it, guess what?
Miami. It was in Miami.
They were threatened with having their license. They are going to have their license taken away.
No, he's wrote back on that, but he was threatening it. He was threatening it, the mayor. What I'm going to show you now is quite arresting footage. This is footage, as I say, this is the director who's been kidnapped. Let's not beat around the bush.
Kidnapped from the ambulance, bleeding from his abdomen and his head, having just been beaten up.
Screaming. The last I think his wife heard was him screaming, I'm dying. These are the 4 directors. I believe the guy on the left, he gave a speech, is the Palestinian. The lady is Israeli. The guy on the far right is the man who was actually, this chap, he also gave a speech, is the other Israeli director. He posted on X last night.
That's where we heard it.
That's where we heard it.
This is a man who lost his, just lost an entire family in the Holocaust. And he's been called anti-Semitic by Israelis, anti-Semitic.
So I'm now just I've got to upload it straight from, I've just sent it in from my phone. So I'm just going to play in. This is a clip of what happened shortly before he was abducted, lynched and abducted.
I can't watch it.
You ready?
No, look, don't do that. Lecho! No! Hey, no!
Can we go back to the car? Guys, back to the car, back to the car.
I was hoping the American voices would be of
Balal
interest.
was arrested, Hang on, and then there's a further clip of them jumping in the car.
Back to the car!
Get in the car, get in the car.
This has been banging the car with rocks.
Oh my god.
Oh, good thing this window's working.
My window was broken.
Just what you see from that is
Well, watch the film, No Other Land.
There is a savagery and a hillbilly unpredictability and a sort of primitivism to the aggression of these Israeli settlers that go on the rampage.
That's gone on for decades. And there are so many videos out there if you want to watch. I never post them. And the reason I don't post them, even though they would be very powerful and show the story, is personally, I cannot bear to see the humiliation that the Palestinians are feeling. They storm in day or night with guns, with
the American
huge
activists
baseball
are
bats,
in the car.
with baseball bats. They spit, like the teenagers come and they spit into the faces of them, and they're not allowed to do anything. So when The Guardian says he was arrested, how do you know he was arrested? He was taken off by soldiers.
Screaming, I'm dying.
Screaming, I'm dying. This language that is used is so disgusting. Normalizing it.
It completely legitimizes it. It kind of irons out the ruffles. It makes it unchallenging. It makes it a headline that the paper, and let me explain this to you. It's so important that you get this. What the papers do, even the Telegraph ran the story, what they do is they make it sedate. They remove the savagery, the brutality,
psychotic arrogance,
the psychoticness of it all. They remove all of that. They make it bureaucratic. They reduce and minimize the drama. And what happens is, to readers, you read through it, you kind of pass it, because actually no one's stammering.
Oh, a guy was arrested. Oh, that's good.
Another guy was arrested.
He was probably Hamas. He probably blows people up.
Now, I want to say something that directly relates this to the really quite sort of pathetic objections and frustrating objections that brought the Gaza documentary down on the BBC. These are the actions of the two extreme actions of the same attitude to the expression of any truth for the Palestinians in the West Bank or Gaza. Any expression of their experience, regardless of the mistakes that the BBC made and the due diligence, etc., and what they told the viewers, regardless of the mistakes made with the Gaza documentary that was removed by that coterie of well-known media professionals in the UK, they are the same, on the same spectrum as these settlers, refusing to allow the articulation of oppression. It's the same thing. One is done incredibly sort of bureaucratically on the radios with Nick Ferrari inviting Danny Cohen in for an interview, and then at the other end,
the Israeli ambassador, I think he's her best friend,
just to kind of iron it all out and say this is an absolute egregious. Now the BBC won't go anywhere near covering something in Gaza. That was the intention. Let's scare everyone off. Let's make sure no one can ever fucking say anything about anything that ever vaguely criticizes Israel.
Where is the bravery?
But take the DNA of that. Those 69 media professionals who signed that list, signed that petition, take them, and they are directly related to these animals attacking a director who won an Oscar. Where is the Academy? Where is the Academy in this?
Where are the artists? Where are the actors?
If this was any other director that had been lynched, everyone would be up in arms. I'm going to post a link on here by our beautiful, incredible actress, Juliet Stevenson, who gave the most beautiful speech. And she asked, where are the artists? Where are the writers? Where are the actors? Where are the social media influencers? Where are you? Who are you? Come on, grow some fucking bravery. So you're going to lose some money. Do you know what? You fucking survive. You've got a load anyway, you know. And at the end of the day, maybe you will get more respect than you've ever had because you had the bravery to stand up and speak up. Because believe me, the history books are not going to be favorable. We have seen everything in broad daylight. They released a statement.
Now, why I put this up is 20, 30 years, more than that.
It's embarrassing.
No, more than that. 33 years ago, I did a play in Hampstead about the Intifada. It was an uprising. It was written by an Israeli playwright trying to show the two sides. It was the story of an Israeli soldier and the story of a Palestinian. And guess what all the story was based around? Somebody that was arrested for throwing a stone. You can get life imprisonment. A Palestinian can get life imprisonment for throwing a stone because they are under military law, whilst the Israelis are under civil or whatever it's called. I don't know what the difference is. So a child can get 10 years for throwing a stone. It's all they have is a stone. So every time we get either Hamas or you throw a stone, really, with your great big guns and the strongest bombs in the world, and you're saying
you're scared of a stone.
You're saying he threw a stone, and that's why it was all right to take him hostage out of an ambulance when he was bleeding from his abdomen and his head. This is what we are talking about. And this is why this clip here from Owen Jones sums up what we are starting to accept. Can we play it now, Mark?
What?
Can we just play the Owen Jones?
Yeah, can I just say that? Oh, no,
yeah, please, just play it because it's
fine.
It's perfect.
It's bluntly and directly. In full view of the world, the West has normalized destroying hospitals, slaughtering medical staff, butchering children and babies by the thousand, deliberately starving an entire people, torture, rape, and endless other atrocities and examples of depravity. For the West right now, this is the sowing. The coming harvest will be bitter. Do you think we're going to get away with this? We're not going to get away with this.
No, we're not going to get away with this because this is a stain on humanity. This is a stain on humanity. Mark and I were talking about this morning. We could now say anywhere, oh yeah, do you know what? 10 more children had their legs amputated under no anaesthetic. People just carry on. People carry on. It's being normalised and normalised and normalised. And don't think that what can happen there can't happen everywhere. Look at what Trump's doing. And more on that when we do.
Someone's just mentioned there that a lot of people are desensitized. The thing about being desensitized is, and I do have to stress this, it's a choice. Yeah. It is a choice to be desensitized. It's about it becoming too much to bear, too much to deal with,
being manipulated,
too much to being manipulated. And manufactured consent is a book, or was something that Noam Chomsky years ago wrote. And the idea of manufactured consent is we are controlled, or the mainstream controls the narrative, not just by what they report. So for a good example is this guy who's been essentially lynched and kidnapped, Oscar winner. Most of the broadsheets can say they've run the story, but how they've run the story minimizes the truth of the situation so that people pass through the news story in their gobbling of other news and it doesn't stand out. The problem we have here is it's incredibly difficult to make this stuff stand out against a sea of atrocities. And that's what we're going through here. It's a constant wave of atrocities. And
thank you so much for bearing with us.
Yeah.
What we take a risk all the time by standing up, believe me. We take a risk, but we take it because we can't live with ourselves if we don't try and help in some way. So we thank you so much for sticking with us, because I know for a lot of you, you must think this is so far removed from me, but it really isn't, because we're all human beings. So
and the trickle down effect of disenfranchising people and killing whoever you want to kill and finding any old reason to say that you can kill them. The trickle down effect on that is other groups, other peoples, this will happen to, and it will happen to people closer to you, and it will happen to people closer to you. And it might be Palestinians that you have no relationship with and you can't really even begin to imagine what that means. And then it will be other people, and then it will be other types of people. This is how it works. What has happened? I'm far more negative about this. I feel the damage has been done. Israel's actions supported, and let's not forget, the absolutely facilitated by Biden. Biden cleared the way for the colonialism of Trump. Biden isn't a goodie. Trump is certainly not a goodie. They're both, yeah, absolutely. The damage has been done. The entire world order of humanitarian law has been upended. It's gone. It's gone, because no one can, if China goes for Taiwan, if anyone goes for anywhere, who can really with any validity stand up and go, well, you can't do that because look what's happened here.
It's all gone. They've dismissed the International Court of Justice because they've made it that it's not. But anyway, thank you for listening.
But what I do want to say to everyone is, please contact your politicians, contact all the news stations and ask them why go to their complaints department and say, why aren't you giving this story top billing? And in that message, also say, would you be giving this story top billing if it was an Israeli director?
And both Mark and I posted last night and gave a list of people. If you even just share those posts and then copy in all those people, BBC News, ITV News, The Mail, The Times, The Sun, or the International Court of Justice, Amnesty International have already determined that a genocide is happening. 294-page report, just copy all those people. That's one thing that's really easy to do. Share it, share it, share it. Make them feel ashamed that they're not talking about this poor man, God knows where he is. And artists and actors and writers and directors, where the hell are you? You've got enough money. Where are these famous people? There are a few, and we're going to do something on that, because the ones that are properly speaking out and not just occasionally go, all eyes on Rafa. Oh, no, I'm not going to say anything on my story so nobody sees it.
Interesting if some UK celebrities actually just did that. I just want to pop up his face again. His name is Hamdan Balal. Hamdan Balal. And what was this guy's crime? He won an Oscar. He won an Oscar for sharing in the truth of his people's experience in the West Bank.
And after you saw him on that stage taking that award, they go back to the hell on earth they were living in. And the settlers have not stopped in antagonizing and terrorizing them for daring to have success.
If there's any satisfaction,
they put an end to his success.
Exactly, they have. And if there's any satisfaction to be had for him and his co-directors, is it's clearly got under the skin of the Israeli settlers and the far right
and his story is out there, but unfortunately there isn't a single distributor who's brave enough to actually put the film on. Shame on our industry. Shame on you.
It's so
shame
shocking.
On you.
It's so shocking.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we're going to pivot towards something more lighthearted. Should I show this?
Thank you, guys.
Thank you for all of your support. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for. We really pick and choose when we come back to this. When we're not. It's not like a daily grind. We try and because
it is in our house.
It is here. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, right, let's show this clip. Let's show the clip of the wedding. The wedding.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. No, what were you going to say?
I just thought let's do us being in the future. Let's have a bit of a giggle.
Oh, I haven't got that clip in. Let me get it in a sec. In the meantime, let's do
So,
in terms of it's a foreign language.
Yeah, but it's all in the caption. So this
but they won't be able to hear it.
Oh, okay. So this is a packed room, packed with, it's almost, I would say, is it 90% men, Mark? Is it?
Yep.
And then this is in India. And there is the mother of the bride standing there, beautifully dressed. And she is berating them. She is saying that she is going to take her daughter back. Because the groom and his friends are drunk and behaving disrespectfully. And she says, it makes me want to cry. She says, what life will my daughter have if you can behave like this? And I was just like, okay. I mean, I don't know if this is arranged marriage or whatever, but within the constraints of her society, whatever we might think of that, with a room full of men, with the people gesticulating, she stands there and says, no, I'm taking my daughter back. And it just made me it just broke my heart but also just reminded me of the strength and the power of a brave woman. That's unbelievably brave to stand there in front of all those people.
You're damn straight.
I mean, wow. So that was the more serious side of it.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to pay homage to her. This is an account called Femme Social, and there's some amazing videos in there. There's one, I think we might have played it a while ago. Do you remember the one where there's two female police officers? Some of you guys will remember it. And in India, they have carriages where no men are allowed, so the women can travel in peace. But a load of men had just got in it, and there were two female police officers. And as they came out, they hit every single man on the head. Yeah. Then there was another video. This guy is on a train, and he's videoing this woman, and she's on the phone. She suddenly sees herself and turns and slaps him around.
Very good.
And so you know, they're often living in incredibly difficult situations in certain parts. I mean, of course, not everywhere.
Yeah.
And yet that fire that can come up.
I do apologise. I teed that up as a light-hearted story, and of course, it has a very serious.
No, but it does. It's a
yeah,
mixture of
no.
things. But then, of course, it got us chatting and thinking about. Can you imagine if every time a groom got drunk in this country and behaved badly,
I know.
and the mother of the bride went, "We're out of here"? How many marriages do you
But
think?
it reminds me of quite a few years ago, or a year or so ago, we did that story where the groom gave a speech where he was really dismissive of his wife, and then they were smashing their faces into wedding cakes and stuff like that. It is odd, isn't it? It does seem odd that there's a sort of toxic, toxic masculinity around the groom.
It's a very good point. People might say, "Oh my God, you know, arranged marriages and da da da." But you're right. This was a massive trend on TikTok and everything, wasn't it? Where the guy smashes
his wife's head into
I'm
a
like,
cake.
oh my God, if that was our daughter, I would
not
and I
hesitate.
don't believe in telling our children what to do. I'm always like, I would carry her out of there.
Yeah, I mean, I think the difference with an arranged marriage, and I don't know about arranged marriages.
And we don't even know.
No, we don't even know if it was.
Yeah.
And I filmed an incredibly elaborate. We were given access to a wedding in Rajasthan. It was the most beautiful, but it was epic. I mean, the entire community. It was just, and we were filming and saying everything. The weird thing about it is, if they're relatively sort of unknown, so it's arranged and you haven't lived with them and they haven't gone through the kind of, I'm imagining, say, our daughter's marrying someone who we've got to know over the years. And if they got drunk on the wedding day, that would be easier to see it as an errata on that day. It was the worst day for it to happen. But it doesn't mean that everything about the man has been wrong, because we've known him in the run-up. But if you get to a wedding day which is arranged and you're essentially all almost strangers, and then you're coming together, and then this happens, rescue your child. If you can.
Well, you know what though? I'm just thinking I'm thinking of somebody very close to me who had married a real charmer. He's a real charmer. And charmed the bees out the trees, that one. And then the very first time he hit her was on her wedding night.
Wow.
And I've read that story many, many times. People will tell. I've got another friend who said as soon as she was on the plane on the way to our honeymoon, he showed who he was. So I mean, like, if your daughter was getting married and somebody showed something, I mean, just how distressing. Something that was like a major red flag.
Well, it makes you think of married at first. I mean,
I was going to say married first sight. You always see it in the first fucking few
I'm not going to
minutes.
share who, but this is slightly different, but I was at a wedding and I was the only person when the priest turned and said, "Does anyone have a good valid," whatever that line is, "does anyone have a reason as to why this marriage shouldn't proceed?" I knew exactly why potentially the marriage shouldn't proceed, because I was aware of something that had happened between the bride and someone else.
Oh yes, he did. He knew.
And both the bride and the groom knew I knew, but I was the only person there who knew. And of course, I wasn't going to fucking suddenly open my mouth. But
did you consider it for a split second? Like, were you worried about your friend?
I was genuinely worried. When that moment happened, I didn't for a minute, because I talked to both of them. They both knew I knew. It wasn't like I privately knew.
But you can say what happened.
So I knew that one of them had an affair, and I was the only person who knew that. I also knew that it was symptomatic of a bigger problem, and so I could see concerns further down the way. But I didn't feel it was my place to kind of get involved and say on the moment.
No, you couldn't. It's a good dilemma though. If it's a friend, and you know somebody's been having an affair, is it your job as a friend to stop that wedding?
But if I'd have known it just myself, and I hadn't been told, and neither the groom or the bride knew, and I'd been told, I don't know what I would have done then. If I knew this information, and I didn't know that they knew.
I would tell them before the wedding.
Yeah, I think I would.
Thank you for this, Sherry. Arranged marriage and forced marriage are two very different things. Arranged can be consensual, exactly.
Yes.
Forced is not. Thank you for that definition. And you know what? When an arranged marriage is done through love, what are we doing the whole time now with all the shows we're doing? Married at First Sight. It's people that have gone, do you know what? I've gone out there. And I can't bloody get up every time I make a mistake. And then you get other people that look at what might be going wrong. And that is, I mean, married at first sight is an arranged marriage.
You could argue that
many of the people have ended up happy.
You could also argue that every single dating app, the
Is
algorithm
arranged.
is arranging a relationship.
What about if a friend goes, oh, I've got a guy, you'll just absolutely like, I tell you what, just keep coming round and then he'll see you. And then, so there was something else up here that I wanted to, oh, there was another good one there. I can't see it. Anyway, carry on. So anybody got any dilemmas? Oh, yeah, I know what it was. There it is. Laura Lou. I didn't get to see it, but I saw it was a wedding story. My husband was the best man. He was so unbelievably nervous about the speech. He kept sipping and was wobbling at the altar. Oh, sipping the wine. Yeah, but that kind of drunk at the wedding. Yeah. You know, like we always say, we had the drunk man in the wheelbarrow, we had the drunk man in the shed. You know, that kind of drunkenness.
I mean, someone just said that very often grooms, well, not just grooms and brides pass out on their wedding night because they're so hammered.
We did this on Loose Women on Friday. Pissed. Everyone, Kelly Brook was saying that. Oh, my God, she's so funny.
Again, it depends on how long. I think it depends on the relationship beforehand as to whether, you know, it's a complete deal breaker. But but a really important point about that wedding culturally, I would have thought, yes, pushing against a sea of men in a patriarchy where, fucking hell, you've got to be some strong woman to do that.
Just standing up at like a group.
Yeah.
Lewis Doherty, I just wanted to say this quickly, and we're just going back over the topic. I wish this news didn't polarizing. Yes, but Lewis, you also said earlier, if Israel attacked us, who would America side with? Israel, 100%. That's what I wanted to answer. So thank you for that, Lewis. And there was some good discussion going on about that.
Pixie Petal Jenny. I think myself and my husband were the most sober at our wedding. Too much talking, hugging, and catching up with people.
That's lovely. And I was sober because I was pregnant.
You'd eaten a huge lemon meringue though. Lizzie Russell, to be real, guys, my boyfriend gets in such a state. I'm not ready for our wedding, so I'm happy to wait for him to grow out of it. 9 years. We've been together.
Would he be sweating alcohol? Mark was a bit sweating alcohol on our wedding day.
I was not.
You did. You and your friends got met totally pissed the night before. You weren't drinking on the morning, but you were pissed the night before. And you kept going, it's really hot. It's really hot. It's really hot.
Well, no, it was really hot, but I didn't need alcohol to get hot. I was just hot.
You and your friends got drunk the night before. It happens a lot.
Okay.
If I hadn't been pregnant, I probably would have got drunk with you the night before.
Do you want to show this clip of men trolling women?
Yes, I love this clip. Jane Moore sent me this morning, actually, because
I've changed the music though.
We often talk about how often people that attack other people for their looks, men particularly, and we're thinking of Married First Sight, aren't we? And that guy who treated that poor, gorgeous red-headed woman so disgustingly. I hate people that criticize. I hate the actions, not the people. People that criticize or make fun of the way somebody looks. I really, really hate it. But when somebody says such horrible things about a person's body and then they're shown for themselves, this video is kind of like a bit like that for me because I don't also like the what's insinuating. But my God, today I was like, yeah, do you know what? Men, some of you are right arseholes. So let's begin.
There you go. This is in response to criticism of the actress and singer Selena Gomez.
Men respond. Looks like she had 4 babies already.
Okay. Well, she got 5 kids in 7 years. All those. What?
Say it.
10 years and 10,000.
Child.
All those years need to I think I'll break my weight in minutes too. She would look so much better. Age depression not on her side. Getting a little funky. When I see things like that, I fucking hate all men.
But also, boys and girls.
Simple as that.
Boys and girls. Another reason for showing
those kinds of men. Those kinds of men.
Those kinds of men. There's so many good men. There's more good men than bad men. But the other reason why I wanted to show you that was, if you get trolled if somebody says something nasty to you,
that's a good point.
don't give them the power, and just remember they're probably that type.
Yeah.
That man had his daughter on his shoulders. And you know what? The younger, good-looking loose women, when they talk about the kind of, you know, the trolling they get, they said the amount of times when you go and look at their thing, they've got daughters. They're like, all this respectable man. He's got like, I think they should always be reported to their job. I honestly do.
I think that should be done more often, where we identify the faces of the people doing the trolling. Because, of course, sometimes trolls kind of hide behind. I mean, the point is that, and this is what really gets me about toxicity online, is you were about to sort of say, we're saying those types of men. It's very easy to fall down the wormhole of really body shaming them. But in a weird way, is there a moment where it's permissible when they're body shaming collectively a woman that you can turn around and go, well, take a look at your own fucking stomach, matey jobs?
Because I really don't like that. But you know, my friend Kaz.
Oh, Nikki Ball says it's become something of a trend.
Oh, has it?
To show the men behind the horrible.
Oh, has it? Where is the trend on TikTok?
Yeah.
Oh, right. I'm gonna. What would I be searching for? What would I search?
Someone somewhere will say, but what about be kind? What about be kind? Do you know what? Sometimes
we are merely showing the photographs of the people that feel that they have a right to berate somebody's physicality.
But that's the kind of trolling that comes off the bat. Well, what about be kind?
Fuck off.
Oh, fuck yourself.
But my friend Kaz, she has this in hysterics. She sends on our WhatsApp groups men that are on the dating apps. I've told you this before. I have to ask her if I can show you some of the photos.
Well, you can't date
so
them,
they'll say, I want this, 36, 24, 36. I want it to be 25 years old. I want it to be this. And some of them, when they've taken their photo, haven't even bothered to sit up. They're like this. Right? It's done their photo like that. And
can I just say, it scares me. It scares me. That kind of masculinity, that level of lack of self-awareness. No, lack of self-awareness and arrogance. It's as scary as Zionism for me and Israeli atrocities. It's the same pathological inability to examine themselves.
To see others.
Or see others.
To have compassion. To have empathy.
To sit there with a great big belly in your face.
Who do you think is going to date you? When you can't
but there's an entitlement.
You can't be bothered. Not they can't sit up. They can't be bothered to sit up.
There's an entitlement.
And some of them show like, and you can tell because they say they're like 60 or 50, whatever. But they show a photo of them when they were like 25 trying to, and it's like, what do you think's going to happen when the person turns up? It's like, please. Anyway,
happy birthday for Pixie Petal, I think.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Pixie Petal.
Happy
birthday to you, little petal girl.
I'm just going to show you this clip because it really made me laugh. This is one last meme for a funny out. This is, I posted this on my stories the other day. It's very funny.
Get set. So hang on. So buckle up. So sit tight. So strap yourself in. So brace yourself. So keep your eyes open. So fasten your seatbelt. So stick around. So hang on. So get ready. You just have to be ready. Brace yourself. What you're about to see will open your eyes. The surprises never stop. So you better hang on. So get ready. So fasten your seatbelt. So hold on tight. So hang on. So get ready to get ready. And get ready to get real.
That's the amount it takes sometimes just to fucking head into London.
So funny.
Oh.
Yeah, so thanks so much, guys. It was a mixed old bag. So if you can go to mine and Mark's Instagram accounts and copy and tag in all those media outlets, share. Go to Watermelon, is it Watermelon Production? Migration Films. To watch in full Juliet Stevenson's, our great dame of the theatre, give the most beautiful speech. And just notice one thing. So she delivers this speech to perfection, but bless her, her hand is shaking with the emotion. But the actress who pulls herself forward for what is so important, I just get goosebumps. I've watched it so many times, I just get goosebumps thinking about her and her brilliance. And Mark, you know her, don't you? She's a damn fine woman.
Just an astonishing.
So please look at that and listen to the whole speech and maybe share it with some friends or, you know, because it's very, very powerful. And I think people that might not have got it yet will get it.
Yeah. And we will do that. We're going to do a little kind of string together of really meaningful, refreshing, enabling, empowering speeches and quotes and just, from famous people.
Because
those who have been brave enough to
maybe it will
step
inspire some other famous people with platforms of millions. You know, influencers, mum influencers, you know, child influencers,
migration films,
all kinds of movie stars, supermodels. You have huge amounts of people following you. You can shift the dial. Dare I
say British TV presenters?
Well, I mean, just anybody that has a good brain and has a good heart and has, you know, just a drop of bravery. If you take the step, you could affect change, and that's something that's worth more than money, more than accolades, more than anything. That's a meaningful life. Please follow Jen Brister Comedy as well. She has not stopped. She has taken huge risks with her career as well, and she needs to be supported. And please have a look at Huda Makeup, because Huda Makeup have come out full whack right from the beginning for the side Palestine.
Glenda the good bitch. We will link the direct Instagram link to the Juliet Stevenson speech, which will also indirect take you to the migration.
Yeah, we'll
I'll
do
pop
it
it
right
under now straight away. Okay, guys, have a good day. The vlog that didn't land last night due to me looking after Nan, my mum rather, will land tonight.
And thank you, Mukhtar, Ali, good morning, and Tez and Elaine. Lots of people saying thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thanks,
Big
guys.
hugs.
Bye.